So this is just to answer a couple of questions one of the online students had regarding the dummy. First question was, I see a lot of movements that are coming perpendicular to the dummy's arms. For example, like maybe they bounce out, this part of the bounce out, or maybe like a bounce out. Shouldn't it be more going forward, physically going forward, physically going forward, rather than coming perpendicular? Because let's say, or with a parry as well, but let's say if you are doing these movements and if someone takes their hand away, you would be going away from them. If their opponent's there, you would be going away from them. So the answer is no. Not every movement has to be physically moving forward towards the target. And so first thing, to address the thing of whether, like, if you're going for something and if the person takes their hand away, first of all, in Wing Chun we don't throw. So it's not like we're throwing. So we're in control of everything, throwing in a way that if if we let's say for a punch, if I throw and if I miss, there's going to be this kind of momentum where I have to come back with the back. There's nothing wrong with that, but in Wing Chun we never throw like that, so that if you do miss, because the intention's always you have connection to the person, and we have this concept of facing the opponent all the time. Therefore, if we miss, if I throw something, let's say if it is a parry, and if I go this way, if it misses, I won't be doing that. It will straight away come back to this facing quality. We never throw. Okay, so the whole point of this, the form silhouette, is that we're not throwing the kind of. I do see sometimes people do that kind of stuff, and that can be dangerous for the elbows and all that kind of stuff. But the way we miss it is the way we never throw. I always say the idea is to be in control of every millimeter of the way, so that rather than going for a kick where you have to sort of go like that, if the kick misses, you can still continue with the next kick because you don't have to catch your ball by spinning around it, right? So we don't throw. But in terms of the force, this is simply put, the force has to affect the dummy center, or we have to connect the person's center. This concept of forward force, there's a misconception that people think forward force means the movement has to physically be moving forward. That's not what it means, not to me. What it means is connection. Now you can connect with and affect the dummy or the opponent's center without physically moving forward. So in a movement like this, the idea is my force is certainly not going that way for this upper movement, or for this. The force is certainly not going that way. The force is still going forward to the target, or affecting, not going forward to the target necessarily, but affecting the target. If I'm going like this, in the dummy, it's going to still make the sound, it's still going to have to move here, but that's not the type of force we want. We're pressing that way. I can come perpendicular to it, but my force can still be spinning forward. So it doesn't have to go like this to come forward. You can go like this by Lawrence. So, for example, if it's it doesn't have to physically. Now, in this situation, of course, if I'm here, I'm not going to go like that. But yeah, let's say if I'm here, I don't have to physically move. I don't have to physically move forward to try to affect him. You can so much. I'll do this kind of movement, but as I do that, the force is all stronger. As I do this, you see my forces. I'm not physically moving forward, and that was this movement, but the force is spinning, and what he'll tell you, you'll feel that the force is physically going and entering the body without the movement being physically forward. We can even, of course, do this, as you guys know, with latches and stuff like that. And this was actually coming down and back slightly. But it's very different to this kind of movement where I'm actually physically coming down and back. I'm pressing into contact. The movement looks the same, but the effect is different. The effect is I can actually affect this, right? So same with bounce out. Of course, the bounce out's idea is bounce out isn't just to go like this. I've made many videos about this. Bounce out's idea is, you are projecting force forward like that, but it doesn't physically have to move forward. Same thing. As I turn, I can still be sending my force. If you imagine it this way, the round force is going and affecting here. It is not this. You've got to think more. The issue is when you think about pressing, one directional force at the contact point. That's the issue. So if the bounce out looks like this, means my force is going that way. No, the bounce out can still go like this, but my force can still go forward. You see what I mean? It doesn't have to do that. But it depends on the situation. Here we're talking about force cultivation. Of course, realistically, personally, I don't like doing this kind of stuff when I have that available to me, right? But if I have that and if it doesn't work, the person latches or something, then maybe something or low bounce out comes out, which we do a lot, or something else might come out. But here, what we're talking about, like Chun will do something. There's a video I put on the old video like 7 years ago. I think I put up, and where when we first came, 2005, we came here, and it was showing how he can send his force and make us. He sent his force through the body and make us feel in different parts of the body. So he'd be like, okay, so this is at the contact point there. This one will be more at the shoulder, and he'll say, this one is more at this point. And we weren't just holding rigidly like that. I mean, we were holding quite strong, but we weren't just giving it to him. And it wasn't placebo or hypnosis or just going, oh yeah, I do feel that. It was actually affecting that the force was reaching this area. So Wing Chun is about, when we talk about connection or forward force, it's about how do we, even with backward movements, how are we able to interconnect with our body so it can produce mass? How do we shape that mass in a way to affect, depending on what you want? If I want to take the person's back, I'm not going to go, okay, I'm going to now go like this, go like that, go like this. No, how can I produce a kind of force so that I can turn him, so I can position him, or if I want to bring his head down to a knee, or how can you start to really, not just pull that way, but how can you manipulate the person's, let's say I want to grab that leg, so let's say we're here. If someone's going, I wouldn't do this realistically. People might say, yeah, try to do that against someone that's not just standing like a statue. Here I'm just talking about the concept and the idea. I'm trying to express an idea. But rather than, if I'm in contact there, rather than just letting this go like that, how can I do something with here so that that leg can start to come up and I can start to go to that. A good grappler knows that as well. It's judo, people do that as well. Aikido people do that as well. It's about your force, it's about manipulation of the person's body. So don't look at Wing Chun movements as just rigid, okay, straight that way. So that's that was the first question. Second question, actually that answers the second question as well. The second question was something like, I see a lot of people doing this and this. Shouldn't the force be affecting the dummy? Which that's the question. Yeah, so it should be, whether it's this, I like to do this myself. The movements here where, again, as I'm going like that, if I was on the dummy, you can't show it, but on a human, as I was to step forward, it's clearing the arm and the force is injected through the body. So not this, but this round circular forces that are holding on. And this one, sometimes people do this. It's not right. Because you see my force, I'm moving the dummy. The difference with the dummy is you can do it. You can do anything. I can do this, and it still moves. Does that mean that's a good force work? So this is danger with the dummy where people just try to make sound or try to get movement. But as I showed, you can do any kind of force, but because it's stuck to it, it will move the dummy. So what I'm talking about is about actually feeling through the dummy, actually feeling your force. It's not just moving because it's connected together, but your force is actually be, you have a ball that weighs, if you have a shot put, you can feel the substance, you can feel the mass of it, and you can spin it, you can throw it this way, you can shape it, you can, there's a tangible feeling to it. So I'm talking about producing force like that rather than just hitting, right? But what I'm saying with this is, we've got feelings like this. So, and again, this is a misconception of, shouldn't I be moving physically forward? A lot of times, yes. If I'm here, yes. You want to do it rather than the side. But a lot of times, you don't have to physically go forward. As I just demonstrated. So in this case, what I do, I angle my force to come diagonally up like that. So not like this, which is again wrong. This is sliding, but how to inject the force with precision. I wouldn't go up. I would go like this, but I would go like that. See how it doesn't slide. So when the force slides, it dissipates. So I want to go there. I want to do this. Sometimes people do this. If you're doing that, that's okay as long as it's not a pull. again, as long as I'm affecting this. So the difference between pulling and, you know, actually getting like this, so pulling, you know, to hurt the knee. I wouldn't do that, of course, by itself. You're doing that with the head button, you're doing that with the knee, with the kick. So that's there. And the third question, I forgot the third question. The third question was, Hünsau. So here was Hünsau. Isn't Hünsau the beginning to like a Garnsau? The answer is it can be, just like a Garnsau could potentially turn into this, could turn into that, could turn into this, could release it, like could be a punch. There's potentialities. There's no such thing as thinking about this technique equals to, you know, after this technique you must do the next technique. There's no, these are forces. We are cultivating forces. So yes, a Hünsau could go into a Garnsau, possibly, but also it could just be a Hünsau where you're creating a force. Sorry, Lawrence. Yeah. So you're creating the same thing out of what I just said. So from here, a Hünsau. The question was, you know, is a Hünsau the beginning to a Garnsau or a palm strike? It can be like that. It can be. Or for whatever reason, you could be ending up here. So a Hünsau could be to offset the person's belt, basically create this kind of force. If you watch. Yeah, this one there, see. So not this one, not this. See, I'm pivoting, but nothing is coming out here. The idea of Hünsau is to create this kind of. Imagine you have your weight, you do some weight here, but at the end of it, it's like a propeller that way. So Hünsau potentially could be something like that, which I love to do that in Chisau because that's where, you know, as you're doing something like this, then you can see that I love this move. So this is to put force through his body. Again, imagine if I did that without this interconnection of talking. Imagine if I try to do it and I'm going, as we in this position, if I try to do it as a technique, the force is not coming out. How can I have it? So as I do this, the force actually affects the person. Like it. Yeah, so the force is so Hünsau not necessarily is an entry to a Garnsau. No, it's just again, thanks bro. We're talking about creating these kind of directional forces. Wing Chun isn't just about forward, 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 forward. No, we got every potential force of backwards, up, down, you know, down and forward, straight down, you know, down, like sideways, outwards, inwards, diagonal, this way, from up to down, from down to up. You have everything mixed up with body movement, positioning. You don't want to just, and this is a big misconception I believe of Wing Chun, that everything is just forward, forward, forward. It's forward force means connection. You connect, your force affects the person's center, affects the dummy center. You're physically going forward. And then from there, you create all these potential forces, shape again. You have a ball, and how can I shape the ball? How can I put that? If we're playing tennis, how can I hit the ball with a top spin, with a back spin, with, you know, cutting it, hitting it very hard that way, hitting it soft so it floats. It's like that, but it's not just a ball and a racket. You have all these joints and you have all these potential, you know, how many forces can be generated with a ball joint and a hinge joint and the body's moving and the spine moving and footwork. Think about how many vectors of force, how many possibilities are there, you know? But of course then, you're doing it in relation to, or in combat, in Wing Chun or Chisau, you're doing it in relation to, okay, you're creating all these forces, but what's the most applicable force in that situation against this person in that scenario? You know, not always going forward. One thing I'll leave with is, I remember Master Choi what I'm saying in Chisau, because this was my understanding very early on, everything must be forward, like in Chisau, in this Hünsau one. How can I be going forward physically and going around at the same time? How can I be going like this way? How can I be going forward as it's moving back? How can my force still be going forward? That's a misunderstanding. It's not going forward. This force is literally coming back and down. But if the person's hand goes, like if I go fast, if the person's hand moves out of the way, I'm not going to fall like this. it's just going to come back to this basic quality. This is how people cultivate this out. So when I asked him, we were doing something in cheese out, and I said, oh, there's like pictures of guns or something like that. Whereas I said, what happened? This is not going forward. What you just did physically didn't go forward. He said, this is a cheese out, but this can be, you know, in relation to combat as well. He said it's okay. It's okay for one not to be going forward, the force to be going down to the side or whatever, as long as the other one's going forward. They're still winning in terms of combat. So you're offsetting, so you're taking the person's bounce, like I was just showing on Lawrence, you're taking the person's bounce by creating side round forces like this as you hit with the other one. Or in extreme case, so I can really do this, you know, quite probably not, but the potentiality of there is this. This by itself, if you're not thinking about the potential for a headbutt or a kick or a knee or something like that, this by itself isn't the best movement because you have to do one and then follow up with the second one. You know, so this for me, this for me would be with a forward step, so you're coming over the person's arm as you're hitting them, or as I said, if it's a latch. You know. Anyway, I hope that answers the question. Cheers.